It is Friday, September 5th, and we are live at the Greatest Bar on Friend Street in Boston. We have shirts. You are watching the Dirty Water News Fantasy Football Show. It's we are official. Steve just actually wants to show what his bicep.
It really reflects the muscle groups in the upper body very well.
Okay. Fair enough.
There we go. That's exactly why we got them.
You're all seeing it.
Wow.
A little preview.
All right, then.
Well, I'm not even really sure where to go with that.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. And you can follow us on Twitter. This is Nick Lessigore. He is at Nick Lessigore. We have Steve Pico at Uncle Stop and myself at Caitlin Jean. And we're excited to be with you because the NFL football season has started.
Yes.
Yay. We're so happy.
Yes.
I'm
Very
so
excited.
happy. We kicked it off last night with Seattle and Green Bay. So the Super Bowl champions certainly looked like the Super Bowl champions. What do you guys think? What are your quick hits?
Quick thoughts would be Russell Wilson, 2 touchdowns. I don't know how many yards he had offhand. That's about what you're going to get from him every week, I think. And I think Tom Brady's going to outscore him this week for our first tab bet.
Tab wager, yeah.
And we need to do more of those as the season goes on more and more. And also Marshawn Lynch, for all the haters, and I know it's just week 1, but for everyone that said that he wasn't going to perform in that, I mean, he was definitely spelled a lot by Turbin, but I think that Marshawn Lynch, he keeps running that way, and he's just gonna be a beast again this year.
Nick can't stop talking about it because
first round
Nick
draft
played
pick.
me.
Because he accidentally drafted Marshawn Lynch, so now it's awesome.
You
and
think it was an
accident?
accident?
I just happened to be his week 1 opponent.
I may have played it off as an accident, but count it. That's 24 fantasy points. Week 1 game against Caitlin, and I'm well on my way to a victory, 1-0.
Nick, you hit on it. Russell Wilson played great. Marshawn Lynch, probably had the best game out of everybody. Seattle defense also looked really good. As far as Green Bay goes, it was just, really disappointing for all. Not all, I should say, but Aaron Rodgers owners especially. He just came out so flat. I know it's a very tough environment to go into Seattle. Opening night, they're raising the flag and everything, so they're more amped up than usual.
Yeah.
But to go out, I think he had 10 points.
Yeah.
Once Balaga went down, once his offensive lineman Brian Balaga went down, that's when you saw the train go off the rails.
And they couldn't establish the run with Eddie Lacy, which was tough. Another high pick, first rounder. He did look good, I thought. I thought he ran the ball well, and he ends up coming out, in the second half with a concussion.
But you know what you're getting with him as an Eddie Lacy owner. Owners, this is what you're going to get with him.
If I have Lacy, I'm kind of excited because he had signs of being a beast last night,
right.
And that's what you want to see in your first round pick. And he has, the extended week with the Thursday night game to recover from the concussion, but
very concerning that James Starks got as much play as he did, though. Yeah. Even before the Lacy injury, seeing Starks in the game, he was in the game a little bit more than I thought he was going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Starks is going to be a waiver pickup.
Definitely.
With or without the Lacy concussion, you're going to see Starks being picked up a lot in leagues. But, just quick hit thoughts. I think Eddie Lacy owners have reason to worry, even without the concussion issues. I think the Packers like James Starks.
Interesting. Well, we're going to move into some of our stardoms and situms for week 1. And what we've done is the 3 of us have picked a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a defense that we definitely want to start and that we also definitely want to sit. So, Nick, since you're drinking, I'll start with Steve.
I got to be hydrated for this segment.
He's really well. Steve Flex, so you can at least drink water.
I'll kick it off, I guess. My quarterback I'm going to start this week is going to be Tony Romo going against the San Francisco 49ers. You know, most people sit there and go, oh, they're playing the 49ers. To me, I'm not scared of the 49ers. I'm looking forward to going up against the San Francisco 49ers now. You know, they lost, Dante Whitner in the secondary. Navarro Bowman's out with the ACL injury. And then they also don't have Aldon Smith, and they lose Glenn Dorsey up front. I don't know if they can get a pass rush that they could maybe last year. And I think the Cowboys are going to come out, Huck and Chuck football style. Jerry Jones is going to be pretty excited the way Romo's going to chuck it around on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how the Cowboys do down there. Running backs, I'm going to go Frank Gore, Pierre Thomas. Looking like Gore should have a good game against that Dallas defense. I think I could have a good game against that Dallas defense.
Well, clearly with those muscles.
I mean, you said it. I didn't. I mean, they lost Sean Lee again for the entire season, so that's just very disappointing. And, I mean, it's going to be like Swiss cheese. Frank Gore just tearing them up.
Well, you've been on the Frank Gore hype train. You've been leading that hype train for weeks now.
And Marshawn Lynch, kind of proved my point. Give the ball. The guy's going to do well until he doesn't.
Well, what do you think about Carlos Hyde?
I think it's going to be the Frank Gore show. A lot of people were high on Christine Michael going in and getting carries, but look what Lynch did last night.
I don't know offhand the amount of carries Starks got. Over, under, you think Hyde will get as many carries as Starks got last night or less?
Tough to say. I'm going to say less just because I love Gore.
I'm going to say as many. I think that they're going to mix it in a little bit. I don't think that's because I still think they're a running team at heart, and I think Seattle is a running team at heart. So I think that they're going to keep Gore fresh, and especially with high hopes of being in the playoffs this year. I don't think that's going to limit Frank Gore's effectiveness. I think he's going to be just as effective.
And this might be the highest I have Gore ranked all season, just because of the defense he's going up against. I also have Pierre Thomas as a running back that I'd like to play. Maybe not on the rushing side. In a PPR league, I'm definitely starting this guy. My sources down in New Orleans, and you guys know about my sources, they're talking about this guy breaking the receptions record as a running back, held by Larry Centers with 101 right now. That's a lot of catches for a running back. Yeah. You saw him get, he led the league last year. I think he had around over 80. A lot of these running backs are getting in the 70s, 80s now. And if Pierre Thomas is bringing in, 8 catches a game, he's going to be startable no matter if he's running the ball or not.
I think that's just a quick hit. My quick thought on that is just that too many guys there. That Kyrie Robinson catches the ball, Mark Ingram catches the ball, 101 receptions. Unless the whole running back core gets decimated by injury, I think that's a little bit of wishful thinking.
They might be able to catch it. I just don't think they can catch it as well as Pierre Thomas has done in the past.
Yeah, 100 receptions is a lot.
He's going for 102. See you later, Larry Centers. Get out of the record book. Wide receivers, I'm going to start off in Denver. I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders. Big news for him with Wes Welker being suspended.
Big news for my boy Cody Latimer as well.
Latimore's going to be coming in. Are they going to move Manny into the slot? Are they going to keep Manny on the outside, bringing Lattimore on the outside, or Andre Caldwell in the slot? They can really do a lot out there. And they're going up against a Colts defense that I'm not too high on, especially at the D-back position. And, Peyton Manning is throwing the ball.
He's gonna be slinging the ball. Just like you said, Peyton Manning's throwing the ball. But I'll tell you this: these guys are going to benefit naturally from Wes Welker being out. The wide receivers. I don't think it affects Peyton too much because, like Tom Brady, no matter who you put around him, he's going to be.
He's going to throw to the open man to me.
Right, and I think it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders in the slot, Cody Latimer / Andre Caldwell on the outside.
I see big games for everybody in Denver. That's going to be a shootout, a very high-scoring game between them and the Colts. Andrew Luck, if they're going to keep up, they're going to have to throw it, or they can try to eat up the clock, and I just don't see them doing that.
If you're a Wes Welker owner, do you pick up Cody Latimer or Andre Caldwell? And if you do, who do you pick up?
I'd probably do Caldwell just because they used him last year a little bit.
I mean, I'm a Lattimore
I think Lattimore will get worked in, but I think initially to start, I think it's going to be Caldwell just because he's been there.
I picked up Latimer off waivers actually in a league that I'm in. I'm not starting him yet, but
it's a good guy to kind of stash away and see what happens.
In our Instagram Experts League, we picked up Latimer.
Yeah,
and
good job us.
And then
good job us.
Another owner picked up Caldwell. So.
And you might not hear this ever again. Eric Decker is on my stardom list.
And Steve's fired after this episode.
I had to get Eric Decker in here somewhere. It might as well be against Oakland.
If
Why
he's
not?
going to
Right.
score, this is the game to do it.
This is the only week you can really have him in your like list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw him in there. I think they're going to come out firing. I think Geno Smith, they're going to want to, show that he has taken a step forward and give him some confidence. I think he's going to throw the ball a lot to Eric Decker. I think that entire offense might have a big week. Geno Smith, to me, is a possible starting quarterback. And it's against Oakland. It's
Possible
always fun.
starting quarterback in what?
I mean, if you're
What league?
it's against Oakland. I mean, if you're having a
Who are
question,
you starting Geno
if
Smith
you
over?
have Cam Newton right now and he's questionable for Sunday, and you're looking at waiver guys to pick up, I would probably pick up Geno Smith over some other
Boy,
guys.
You better be in an 18, 20-team league if you're doing that. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks better than
You know what?
Geno
I'm going
Smith.
back to quarterback. Start Geno Smith. I said it. And that's probably the last you're going to hear of Eric Decker from me. Tight end, I'm going to go Kyle Rudolph. Not strictly based. He has a very tough matchup. He's going against St. Louis, which was the #1 tight end defense last year. He allowed the least amount of points. But I'm excited to see him in North Turner's offense. I think he's going to be an absolute freak of nature in that offense. And, he's going to go off Cordero Patterson. It's going to be a lot like Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron that you saw last year in Cleveland. I think Cameron's numbers are exactly where Rudolph can be, maybe even higher because he's such an established veteran. Came into Cam a little bit better, but
Okay. There's that.
but hey, I got it.
He's got to stay healthy. So
Yeah, I mean, last year he got an injury as well, so
health is a concern for me.
I really like him in that North Turner style offense, and I'm starting the Houston Texans defense because they're going up against RG3, and I don't trust RG3 yet, and I know Clowney and Watt are going to make it a disaster for him back there. If he holds onto the ball, he's going to be in trouble.
All right, then. Well, liked most of those picks for sure. Like mine better, but like most of those.
At least you're modest.
That's right. I always am on the show, right?
Always.
And I don't
God.
feel sick this week, so that's a good thing.
Thank God for us.
Alex Smith is my quarterback. I like him better than Geno Smith this week. He's playing the Cowboys defense, which we went over. Holes like Swiss cheese right now. So I think, although they're a running team, the times it wouldn't surprise me if he had close to Russell Wilson numbers. A couple 100 yards, couple of touchdowns like Wilson had last night. Ben Tate and Maurice Jones-Drew are my running backs. You're talking about MJD, a guy in Oakland that is going to be, I guess, sharing carries with Darren McFadden. He's got the unofficial start this week. A tough defense in the Jets, but I think that where they have problems on cornerback, you may see Oakland pass a lot more. And if they do pass, MJD can catch passes out of the backfield.
He definitely has the lead over McFadden when it comes to the passing game wise.
But they're definitely going to be mixing in McFadden. That's going to be a split situation. But I think as an Andre Ellington owner, which we'll touch on, but as an Andre Ellington owner or a Bishop Sankey owner, you're not sure what he's going to do this week. Maybe substitute in Maurice Jones-Drew. And in terms of my boy Ben Tate, a guy I've been high on all offseason long, a guy that I haven't picked up in any of my fantasy leagues for some reason.
But you like him.
For one reason or another, I wasn't able to get him. But they're playing the Steelers this week, and if Ben Tate's going to have a big week, what way to do it than to do it against a division rival and really set the tone for the run game, open some things up for Brian Hoyer. He's got a couple of rough games, so I think, Coach Patine's going to be very patient with Hoyer. He said as much, and he's not going to throw Johnny Football in there immediately.
Yeah.
But
my guy.
I think that in terms of Ben Tate, staying healthy, and the matchups I have, they aren't very sexy, in terms of the teams that these guys are playing. But these are division rivals, and when you're playing, you get a crack at a team twice a year. You're going to have a good game at least one out of those two.
And
games.
Tate's trying to prove something as well.
Oh,
It's his
Right.
first time he's a lead back for a team.
And they're not very high on Terrence West right now.
Not right now.
But I think
exactly.
that may end up changing. My wide receivers, Jeremy Maclin and Harry Douglas. Uncle Stav's boy, Harry Douglas. Atlanta's going to be slinging the ball, and I don't think that Steven Jackson is in their long-term plans this season. And if he is, he's going to get hurt, and he's going to ruin their plans this season. So I think that
You heard it there. He has tonight's winning lottery numbers as well.
Okay. So does the shirt make you more brazen?
I just feel bigger in it.
Is that what that is?
This increases confidence.
In the Saints defense, what do you think about the Saints defense this year? Because people have picked them, analysts have picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know, they started strong last year. I'm just still not sold on them as a starting defense, I guess. I really like their second-year safety, Kenny Vaccaro, not just because he went to Texas, D-back University, but because he was actually a Pro Bowler last year as a rookie. And, you know, that's what Seattle did. They went out and they got Earl Thomas to help their defense. So I think that defense could potentially be a starter this year. But week 1, I'm not starting, especially against the Falcons.
I think, you know, in terms of Jeremy Maclin, you know, touching on Harry Douglas, you know, he's going to see one of those, like last night, the first touchdown Russell Wilson threw. He threw it to like a, you know,
has Harry Douglas written all over it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And then Jeremy Maclin, I just love Maclin this year in general. And the Jaguars, I mean, the defense was okay last year, more on the worse end, but I think that team is sort of in disarray right now, and Nick Foles is going to be throwing the ball for sure, and that's another high-powered offense. And like I said, I love Maclin this year. If he can, stay on the field, him and Riley Cooper should definitely be seeing a lot of targets in this game. And I feel like it's going to be one of those weeks where Maclin has two or three touchdowns and Cooper has none, or Cooper has 3 touchdowns and Maclin has none. You know, I don't think that the Jaguars have the horses on defense to cover both guys, and one of them is going to go off.
What do you think about the people who are owning Jordan Matthews right now, just real quick?
I just dropped him for Jonathan Dwyer. Okay. But in terms of Jordan Matthews, again, another target. But he's just you don't know what you're going to get out of him yet. He's a rookie, so you don't know what you're going to get right now. Eric Ebron is my tight end, and were you surprised to see that? Just because, like, you know how – for as long as you've been pushing the Frank Gore hype train, I've been pushing the Eric Ebron hype train.
I mean, his talent's there. I'm just scared of not knowing what's going to happen with the tight end system there. They added him and Tate. This offense could just be electric this season.
Right. They're playing the Giants.
That helps.
I mean, one of the worst defenses last year. So he's going to get looks, you know, and he doesn't block. And that's going to be a big day offensively for the whole Lions team. So that's why I took Ebron there, and then the Tampa Bay defense, mainly because Lovie Smith is there. You saw what he did with the Chicago defense, you know, when he was there. And, I mean, let's face it, you know, it's Tampa Bay, so someone has to step up on that defense after they got rid of Revis, and someone has to play.
Banged up Cam Newton as well, you know, suffering from rib injuries. Maybe they get to him early.
And if Cam Newton even starts. And if he doesn't start, that's even better.
He's very questionable for Sunday.
For teams that play the swap defenses, you know, week by week, you're going to see them pick up Tampa Bay.
I could see that.
If Cam Newton ends up not starting, you'll see some owners picking up Tampa Bay. And Caitlin, your starts, which I'm sure are going to be better than Steve's.
Well, I don't know.
I had nothing to do there.
My muscles are a little bit bigger.
Dude, don't say you're a one-trick pony. You're like Hulk Hogan. You come down, you rip open the shirt, you do the flexing a little bit.
Well, I'm not going to rip open this nice new.
Yeah, it's brand new.
The shirt material is amazing. This one?
Lovely.
This material is amazing.
Anywho, my starting quarterback is Jay Cutler. I think he's going to have a huge week. I have him in 2 of my leagues, and
so that's why you picked him. There we go. Great,
but
Nick.
I think against a Bills defense at home in Chicago,
all of these guys she's picking on her team.
Not true.
This is her whole starting lineup for this week.
That is not true.
We'll see.
That is very judgy and not true. I do think Jay Cutler is going to have a great week, and I'm excited about him. I think he's going to, you know, especially with Marshall and Jeffrey, I mean, he's going to sling the ball, and I think he's going to just walk all over the Bills defense. So for my running backs, I have C.J. Spiller, who I'm not really excited about just in general, but I think against a kind of a porous Bears D, it could work out for him. I don't know that I would pick him a ton throughout the rest of the season, but I would put him in week 1. And Shane Vereen against Miami. Again, to your earlier point with Pierre Thomas, I think specifically in PPR leagues, I think Shane Vereen could be getting some receptions as well. So in addition to potentially, I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in Stephen Ridley, so I do think that Vereen could potentially be the starting. Just
a real quick hit on C.J. Spiller for people who draft him. He's now going to be returning punts for Buffalo.
That's a good point.
You know, and that's a chance at 6 points every punt.
And it's a chance at getting hurt.
It is.
Which he's very good at doing.
I mean, he's already a risk-reward player. Why not just throw him back at punts?
You drafted him to start, so you can't sit him in week 1, much like you can't sit Aaron Rodgers in week 1.
Right.
So regardless of the defense or whatever he's going up against, which I actually like the Bears' defense this year, not enough to start every week. But I like them as a filler defense. I just think regardless of that, you drafted them in the 3rd, 4th round, you got to start them this week.
Yep. For my wide receivers, I have Malcolm Floyd. Malcolm Floyd, so I do have both Malcolm Floyd and Alshon Jeffrey in my leagues. Suspect, I know. But I do. I think with Jay Cutler and Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, I think they're both, I think he's going to be going to him quite a bit. And I think Malcolm Floyd will be interesting in the sense that Keenan Allen, in my opinion, is probably going to be covered quite a bit by Patrick Peterson. So I see Malcolm Floyd potentially being a big target for Rivers.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yep, so it would be interesting. My tight end I have is Vernon Davis. I had Vernon Davis last year. He was great for me, but wasn't massively consistent, specifically towards the end of the season. But I do think against the Cowboys, I mean, I think specifically in the red zone, he's going to get some targets.
It's nice to know that we all have someone in the San Francisco offense
Yes,
on our
we
like
do.
list.
I mean, they're going against one of the worst defense. Dallas' defense is worse this year than it was last year.
Right.
And that's very
they
hard
don't
to
have
say.
where, so.
It's very
that
hard
defense
to say.
could be one of, if it could be the worst defense in NFL history.
It really could.
In NFL history. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? So yeah, no, unless they can somehow magically get healthy or pick up some guys
Or
off
sign
waivers.
Lawrence Taylor or
in his prime. I think that the Dallas defense is definitely going to be struggling this year. In terms of Vernon Davis, or rather Malcolm Floyd, Steve, he's not wide receiver 2 worthy, but in deeper leagues, maybe a flex option.
he's going to be a guy, if he's on your team, you're going to be excited with what he does this week. Like you said, Peterson's going to be all over Keenan Allen. Basically, he's going to be shut down.
Yeah.
And if Malcolm Floyd isn't owned yet, he's going to be a guy that's picked up on waivers after this week.
Yeah, I think that's right. And wrapping it up with defense, so I would start the Jets defense this week, again, specifically because they're playing Oakland, they're at home, it's a rookie quarterback. I don't know if that's any better than Matt Schaub, but whatever.
It's close.
I am not excited about the Jets defense probably much beyond this week. Their secondary is terrible, but I do think that this week might be the one that I would suggest starting them.
You're looking at Jets. You're looking at Redskins defense. Maybe some people are picking up against Houston with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. You're looking at, I mentioned earlier, Tampa Bay, possibly the Rams defense. People are going to be picking up if they didn't draft them. So, yeah, there's definitely some defenses to be had here in terms of, waiver ads late in the week to fill in, if you're playing that defense by committee.
Yep. So who are you guys avoiding this weekend? Who are we sitting? You want to start?
Are we going back to the – Nick, you can take it. I was wondering if we're going to go back to the original No Bueno list.
Oh.
The No Bueno list?
The No Bueno.
J'adore and then No Bueno.
I don't
Steve,
a little
Steve
French
is
and-
multilingual.
Yeah.
I don't want to bite off your No Bueno idea, but the tab bet thing was your idea too, but you're not that creative. But I guess we'll go with the No Bueno list.
No Bueno
I guess
list,
we'll do
tab
that.
bet shirts. Pretty creative over
You
here. A
are
mustache.
just killing it.
Building muscles episode by episode. Pretty creative.
Okay.
Again, the modesty in the show is unreal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Ryan Tannehill is my quarterback. Talk about modest. You need to modestly temper your expectations with this guy this year in deeper leagues.
Good.
Not bad.
good.
2 quarterback leagues. He's like borderline QB2. If they run the high-octane offense that has been advertised all offseason long, if they do that, you're going to get some work out of them. But that New England defense is going to be studly. So I think that in terms of the matchup this week, you're going to have Revis. By all accounts, he'll be floating around and covering Charles Clay, Brian Hartline. And it may be a situation where, in my opinion, you see Alfonso Dennard and McCourty doubling up Mike Wallace the whole game.
Yeah.
And you let Revis sit on Charles Clay and just go for Jamie Collins, may see some time on Charles Clay. So there's definitely the defense in New England has their fair share of playmakers, and I just don't think they're going to let Miami move the ball all that well. You may see a lot of work from the field goal kicker, so maybe pick up the Dolphins field goal kicker. But other than that, Ryan Tannehill is not where you want to go this week, even in 2 quarterback leagues. My 2 running backs, Bernard Pierce and Zach Stacy. Pierce is playing a tough Cleveland defense.
Cincy.
Is it Cincy?
Mm-hmm.
A tough Cincy defense. I mean, both tough.
Yeah.
Both equally tough. And I'm more in the belief that Ray Rice, 2-game ban, he's going to be able to come back and return to the starting role based on the teams that Bernard Pierce is going to see these first 2 weeks. Zach Stacy, you're hearing so much right now about Benny Cunningham, and in terms of they have a juicy matchup with the Vikings. So I understand why you're not sitting Zach Stacy, but I can also understand why you wouldn't be, or why you would be sitting Zach Stacy. So it's definitely going to be one of those awkward situations. And, tight ends.
Like that one?
No. We'll go through these quickly. Wide receivers, T.Y. Hilton against the Broncos. He's going to see time against Aqib Talib. Torrey Smith, again, going with the Ravens theme. And Jordan Reed and the Cardinals DST.
My quarterback that I'm sitting this week is going to be RG3. I mentioned earlier J.J. Watt, Davion Clowney. Running back Rashad Jennings and Bishop Sankey. Jennings is going against Detroit, Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh. Sankey, who knows if what carries he's going to get.
Sankey is going to be an installment on your no bueno list all season long.
It might be. Wide receivers, I'm going Crabtree and I'm going Sammy Watkins. Injury-based right there. I'm not going to risk that in week one. Tight end, I'm going to go Ladarius Green just because I think it's going to be Gates' job until proven otherwise. And defense, I am going Buffalo because they're playing the Bears.
For me, I am sitting Eli Manning just because I don't really like him.
That's the best point you've made ever.
Thank you. I just hate Eli Manning. Let's be honest. For me, I just don't see. He's in a new offense. I just don't think it's going to be a big game for him against Detroit at Detroit. I am sitting my running backs, Trent Richardson and Lamar Miller. Wolf works back. I just don't see Lamar Miller having a big game. I'm sitting Mike Wallace and Golden Tate. Mike Wallace, again, same reasons as you described earlier. The New England defense is just awesome. I think they're going to be fantastic.
Caitlin's going to sit anybody that's playing the New England defense all season long.
But I'm not
Good
biased.
girl.
So, whatever.
No, not at all.
I'm sitting Greg Olsen again, partly because of we just don't know what's going on with Cam Newton. It's too risky. And then finally, I'm sitting the 49ers D because I have pretty much no faith in them. They've lost half of their starters, and I just don't see them in at least the first potentially 9 weeks being someone I would start.
Absolutely. Well, that is it for episode 19. It is a shortened episode this week. I'm sorry that we couldn't get to more.
Don't be too upset.
Yeah, we couldn't embellish or get into more of a description as to why we don't like some of these guys. But Sunday morning, any start-sit questions at Nick Lesagor on Twitter.
At Caitlin Jean.
And at Uncle Stuff.
Minus the flexing.
Flexing comes via Twitter.
Email the show. You can email the show fantasyfootball@dirtywaternews.com for any questions as well. You tweet us, we'll retweet it, we'll answer it, and we'll maybe put it on the show. So that is it for episode 19. We'll try to come back for episode 20 early in the week to recap week 1 and head into week 2 and see what we can get done and help you guys out to set your lineups for week 2.
Peace.
Bye.
Adios.